Hi crafters, here's a Trimweaver idea on how to take two nylon headbands, put them together, and kind of make a unique kind of headband. So, in order to do this, I've used a pink and a light pink and a red one here. I'm going to use a white and a hot pink right now. And you can use the larger headbands if you like. When you do this, you kind of take off a little bit of the length of these headbands, but they're still very stretchy. So I'm going to start by cutting along the seam of both of these headbands. So here's the white one. And now I'm going to do this hot pink one here, cutting along the seam. Okay. So now that I've cut along the seam, what we're going to do here is we're going to put the wrong side onto the white wrong side. So then when you grab it, you're going to get something kind of like this. And then what we have to do is we need to re-stitch this. So you're going to make sure that all of these sides are together. So I'll put the pinks together, the whites together. And then I'm going to stitch all four of these pieces together here. Just trying to line it up. And then to keep it in place, I have a few pins here that I'm going to use just to pin these pieces in place so that I don't have to hold it while I stitch it. I'm going to hand stitch it, but you can use a sewing machine if you prefer to do that. Might be a little faster to use a sewing machine. And when I hand stitch it, I'm going to do a running seam because it's a little bit more durable to keep these headbands together. So now that I've pinned them, I am going to thread my needle. You're not going to need too much thread, but you can never have too much thread. So now that I have the knot, I'm going to start my running seam. I'm using black thread here. It's easier for you to see the stitch right now. You can use a thread that matches them, but if you're using two colors that are completely opposite, it might be a little hard to match colors here. And so to do with a running seam, I'm always going to stitch to the right of where the needle just came through. So when I put it back through here, so now that I have it right here, I'm going to just poke it to the right of it to bring it back around. And then when I poke it back towards the white headband, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap so that I have enough room to be stitching to the right. So I have a little bit of a gap here, and then I'm just going to stitch to the right of it. And you're going to keep doing this until you have completely stitched back together these nylon headbands. And this is just a fun way to spice up these nylon headbands. There's tons of colors you can play with. You can even just do two of the same colors, but it adds a little bit of uniqueness to these nylon headbands. And it's really quick and easy to do, especially if you're using a sewing machine. It should only take minutes to make this headband. And it's great to use a sewing machine if you're making multiples of these. Almost done stitching. There are so many possibilities when you make a headband similar to this. It's great to play with colors, especially if you have colors of a team. You can use the colors of your favorite team, or if you're a cheerleader or a sports team that you play for, or your kids play for. It's really fun. Kids love it when they have hair accessories that are different from their friends. I'm almost done here. You're going to want to make sure you get kind of close to the end of the headbands, just to make sure that it doesn't come out. So this is my last one here, and then I'm just going to tie it off. And then I'm just going to snip off my extra thread, snip off the extra thread that I had from my original knot. Then I'm going to take out these pins that I used to hold the headbands in place. Don't forget about the pins. And so now that you have your stitch, you'll just bring it inside out here, and now you have just this really fun headband you can wear. And then what you can also do is, see, I have extra frays. I'm just going to snip these extra pieces off here. This will just make the seam that I've created a little bit more neat. If you want to, in order to hide it, you can just as easily fold it like this, just fold the ends together and stitch it, and then you're hiding the seam. Or you can take a piece of ribbon and just wrap the ribbon around just to hide the seam as well. It'll also reinforce the seam. And so here is a very fun and unique alternative to these nylon headbands.